So Bitcoin so far is holding the previous weekly open at 20,800. Snipers, we have a lot to talk about today on this Turnaround Tuesday. There's a very specific level that I want to discuss for Bitcoin, and this is a very big area of interest for me right now, which is right at 19,800, which is just about $1,000 shy of the previous weekly open. And the reason this place is very interesting is, yes, Bitcoin failed to hold the Bollinger Band support at 22,000 US dollars, and it's now broken back inside of this area here where it's likely that there could be a test of the 2018 previous all-time high here at 19,800. And so I wanted to get out this quick update to talk about what we're monitoring over the next few days, because there are 4 more days left for equity markets to be open. I guess you can say 3 more days with today's close. And so there could be a lot of price action coming in the next 24 to 48 hours with the interest rate hike announcement. And if Bitcoin fails to hold this $19,800 level in any case, we have to address the fact that the next level of support below 19,800 is 17,204. And this can open up the door to some downside volatility. But for the bullish case, we want to hold above 20,800 as we currently are. And more importantly, we want to come back up to 24,000 to test this very important resistance for a second time, because that would be very bold for the bulls to bring price back towards this level. And that could potentially allow Bitcoin to have some further upside targets beyond 24,000, potentially towards the $28,000 level. So far we're holding the previous weekly open. That's a very positive thing. And another important puzzle piece that I want to discuss on this video, snipers, before we wrap up this quick Tuesday update, is the fact that the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is coming back down to test 65,000 Satoshis. This is a very critical support level for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And this is going to determine whether or not Ethereum to the US dollar pairing can get back above its 2018 previous all-time high at 1440, because we lost this extremely important support level. And I told you, snipers, once we lost 1440 for Ethereum, it was going to be tough for us to get back above it. And that's why you can see price action currently at 1400, and we saw a low of 1356 for Ethereum. The next downside price target is 1277, and below that is 1165. I wouldn't say that 1165 is on the table unless the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart breaches below 65,000 Satoshis. But the other significance to the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is if we do breach below 65,000 Satoshis, the likelihood that we found the local top for this breakout for Ethereum becomes highly likely, as this was a lower high formed at 70,000 Satoshis. And in a bear market, the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart will typically be in a downtrend, and that's so far what we're seeing here with just lower highs being formed. And so this could be an indication that we've exhausted this consolidation move to the upside for Bitcoin when it comes to the effects that it has on altcoins, because the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is a leading indicator for the other altcoins. So that's why 65,000 Satoshis is very important. We don't want to get below that, or else this is potentially going to be a failure of a breakout for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And so the bulls would love to see 70,000 Satoshis break before that Ethereum merge, because that could potentially put that Ethereum flippening effect back into place, where you'll see the narrative saying, oh, Ethereum is going to flip Bitcoin. And so I think that a lot of the Ethereum maximalists are looking to see that narrative play out, but we're going to have to get above 70,000 Satoshis for that to be the case. And so Bitcoin is in a very critical range. This lower high that, or this higher low that is potentially on the table, the max amount of downside I'd like to see for that is going to be this area of confluence right now at 19,800. If we breach below that, that's going to be a very bearish puzzle piece, but we could come all the way down to 19,800. We also have confluence there with the monthly open and see a bounce for Bitcoin, and that could be a higher low forming before we see continuation of this trend. And the puzzle pieces outside of Bitcoin are not falling apart right now. Equity markets, the S&P 500 is actually in the green for futures right now, and you can see that we're still holding up for this recent move that we've seen to the upside. I'm really watching this previous weekly open at 38.75 for the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract as a major support, and you can kind of factor in this 38.75 level for the S&P 500 as the same level of support that 20,800 is currently acting for Bitcoin, because that's also the previous weekly open. And so far we're holding above that, but I really wanted to put this on the table for you guys that we could come down to 19,800, because the way the weekly candle closed last week makes it a highly likely scenario. You can see this weekly candle symmetry makes it indicative that the current weekly candle is at least going to come and test some prices below the candle body from last week, just because of the way the symmetry is with this wick to the major resistance. And we could even say that the weekly candle last week rejected the 200-week moving average. And so I would expect some lower prices tested. And that's why 19,800 is extremely important, or else it will open up the door for Bitcoin to potentially test 17,204. And so that's a very important support level. I don't want to see Bitcoin get below this, or else that could really open up that door for some downside. And who knows, some of the bears will say that we can potentially even go further below, down to the next level of support at 13,970. But I don't think that's on the table right now. There's no reason to fear this consolidation that Bitcoin is in this local bottom at 17,600. I like some of the puzzle pieces that we have inside of this consolidation. One of those being that if we pull up the Coinbase chart and look at the volume in this area, we are getting institutional type of volume down at these lower levels, like the 17,600 local bottom. So far, we did get a very nice institutional spur of volume on the institutional 6-hour time frame. We've yet to see sell pressure in this consolidation equate to this amount of buy pressure. So I think this consolidation will stay intact. And another reason that that area is very important, and this also strengthens the fact that 19,800 is critical, is that would also pretty much show confluence with Bitcoin testing this channel that was previous resistance. It broke, and it could finally test it as support right around 19,800. So that could be on the table in the next 24 to 48 hours, especially with the interest rate hike announcement coming here very soon. And so that's what I'm monitoring here for Bitcoin. The DXY is still holding above 106.56. That is a more bearish bias for the DXY, but I would say it's still moving sideways, and that we're not going to see the real volatility with the DXY until that interest rate hike announcement in the next 24 to 48 hours. I believe it's 2 p.m. on July 27th Eastern Standard Time that those numbers come out. So that would pretty much be right before market close tomorrow. And other than that, I believe that is all that I had here to cover. I see we've got Billy and Faruka and some of you guys on the live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content. I'm going to go and celebrate a birthday dinner tonight, so I'm going to be wrapping this video up early here, snipers. Thank you all for tuning in for this Tuesday update. We have a lot left in this week, 3 more open sessions in the equity market, so some volatility to come with the interest rate announcements coming in the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's see if the markets react well to that, and yeah, we'll go from there. So until next time, snipers out.